guys, we're back talking more Season 2 of Chucky on the channel with Episode 5. We've officially made it past the midway point in Season 2, and with the way that this episode shaped up, I think it's going to be a really crazy second half of the season. Last week was so much fun between the murder mystery inside Jennifer Tilly's house, the return of Glenn and Glenda, and ending with Liv Morgan being killed by Chucky. I almost kind of forgot about the drama that's going on at Incarnate Lord, and good Chucky potentially could be killed by Buff Chucky. If I'm being completely honest, I thought the good Chucky was a goner if he was trying to fight Buff Chucky. We just watched Buff Chucky punch a hole through Trevor's chest, so I figured an actual physical altercation would not go well, so consider me pleasantly surprised when we have an all-out Chucky fight, which is a sentence I did not think I would be saying as I was watching the series. Not gonna lie, this entire section was pretty silly and hilarious at the exact same time. Good Chucky has the power of Christ on his side and literally crucifies Buff Chucky to the wall with knives. Ever since they rehabilitated this good Chucky, there has been a divide growing amongst the children because some of them don't trust this good Chucky at all and thinks potentially it could still snap in some shape or form. And then you have Jake and Nadine, who is a bit more lenient towards good Chucky and believes in him and that he's gonna actually just stay good this entire time and do nothing else wrong for the rest of the series. It's really tough because I think both sides of the argument do hold merit to them, whether it's Devin and Lexi or Jake, because all of them have been affected in some shape or form or lost a loved one due to Chucky. Jake especially, I think Jake feels the most guilt about the situation, so deep down he really wants to believe that this Chucky can be good after all, the way he's comforting him and trying to bond with him. We even get kind of some feelings and he reminds him a lot of his foster brother that got killed in the first episode. Same goes for Lexi and Devin and the way that they're trying to work through their problems. I was really glad that Lexi flushed her pills down the toilet after having that heart-to-heart bond with Nadine, who I'm kind of coming around to a bit more as the episodes progress. I'm liking her a bit more and trusting her a bit more, so I hope that doesn't come back to bite me in the end. And you really feel for Devin because he's getting picked on by Father Bryce every single episode for being gay. Punishing him by making him read Bible verses about how being gay is wrong, and then coupling that with the punishment because he caught Devin in the room with a crucified Chucky on the wall, considered that blasphemous, and nobody seems to question that this Chucky is extremely buff. We just kind of ignore that at all. I just feel like that's something that someone will point out, that this doll is overly muscular for some reason. Since the series has been shifting back and forth storyline-wise, I wasn't sure if we were going to get any sort of follow-up with Glenn and Glenda and Jennifer Tilly and all of that stuff this week, so you can imagine my surprise when we actually do follow up with the story here, and the reveals in this part are wild this week and the implications for what's to come for the rest of Season 2. After such a tense situation last week with Nika getting away and Glenn and Glenda working together to try and find out the truth behind Tiffany Valentine, you knew tensions are going to be high this week once Glenn tries to confront their mother about everything going on when it comes to Nika, who is Tiffany Valentine. The facade is cracking. Every single week it's getting more and more shattered, and I think we finally saw it actually break this week because she just doesn't know anything about Jennifer Tilly. It's made worse by her sister Meg trying to reminisce about stuff that they did in their past, and she has no idea what she's talking about. So we see her go to another locked room somewhere in her house. It makes you wonder how many secret rooms there are in this house that nobody knows about, but apparently we have another one here, and there's a cage, and there's another Tiffany doll inside the cage. This show's been pretty wild when it comes to callbacks and the way that we're tying everything in from the past, but I think this might be one of the craziest ones yet, because that doll is actually the original Tiffany doll. It's the same one from Seed of Chucky. We see the scar on its head from when Chucky put that axe in there, and it's actually the Jennifer Tilly, the real Jennifer Tilly, when they switched bodies. I was wondering why we saw the flashback to Seed of Chucky when they transferred souls, and Jennifer Tilly's just been in this cage this entire time, and I guess that she's been running the finances. So I know it has to be upsetting for her because she sees Tiffany spending all of her money. They're running low on money, and Tiffany's not going to work as Jennifer Tilly. While she's been locked in a cage for almost 20 years, getting by on eating chocolate and giving info to her about being Jennifer Tilly. Going back to Incarnate Lord, I was not anticipating a Dr. Mixter appearance, as she is there to kind of consult with Father Bryce and the nuns on how to punish the children. I don't really agree with anything that they're saying. They're pretty much all talking crazy except for one sister. She's the only one that has any sort of sense in the situation, so I hope that she survives. You know, everything that's going on in the show, I think she is the best out of the nuns. But we know the stuff with the other nuns is going to get pretty interesting since Buff Chucky is actually alive. He didn't actually die when he was crucified to the wall. He springs out of the garbage, and Sister Ruth is just in awe of him, thinking he's like a godlike being. So that's going to be very weird to see where we go with that in the future. If things couldn't get any more messy at this place, we had someone steal Trevor's corpse from their room. I don't know how someone stole the corpse without being caught by anybody, but apparently that happened somehow. So now we got to figure out who or what took Trevor's body. So we got to dig deep into Chucky's phone once again and kind of get a bread trail for potentially any leads. And it leads to this Chucky graveyard that's just really creepy. creepy. I love the design of this graveyard with all the different Chucky dismembered limbs and heads on spikes. Really eerie stuff there, really creepy. It's definitely something I think it would be great for a future Halloween Horror Nights if they were going to have a Chucky exhibit, but it does make me sad that the kids are divided here because half of them are on this trail, Devin and Lexi, and then Nadine and Jake, they're too busy baptizing good Chucky. Once again, another thing I did not think I'd be saying in this episode is that we'd see a Chucky doll get baptized, but that's a thing, and Jake and Nadine are the godparents of this Chucky. I don't know, we're just gonna have to roll with that one. There's a lot of weird decisions being made in season 2. But the way that we end things this week, storyline-wise, there's gonna be a lot of things to talk about in the comment section, and also what we're setting up for the last couple episodes of season 2, because it gets pretty crazy. You have Tiffany's entire cover being blown because Jennifer Tilly tricks her with info to tell Meg, which leads to Meg and Glenn finding the doll who's the actual Jennifer Tilly. Unfortunately, I was upset that Meg Tilly gets killed in this skirmish because I really liked Meg Tilly and I was hoping we were going to get to see more of her in the series, but I guess somebody had to be killed and it wasn't going to be Glenn. That does lead to Tiffany revealing the truth to Glenn about everything that's going on and even giving Glenn the Glenda doll, burning the house down and driving away. So, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see where we go with that plot line because Glenda is with Kyle and Nika. Seems like we're setting up a really awesome showdown for all of those characters while everything's going down at Incarnate Lord. And speaking of Incarnate Lord, Devin and Lexi stumble upon a house in the middle of this graveyard, and this is where all of the different bodies have been stashed, all the different murder victims. We even get to see a surprise Andy appearance. Andy is alive. He's not looking too good though. He's very unkempt, and he's also being tortured by the bald Chucky, and Dr. Mixter is in on this as well. This whole entire scene is just the big mind-blowing finale, because also, that bald Chucky is the Colonel Chucky. So who would have thought that the bald Chucky that we were making fun of all this time is actually the one in charge? I did have a feeling though in some shape or form that Dr. Mixter was going to be in on everything, and that does make me nervous because Lexi's sister has that Tiffany doll, so that's probably going to come alive at some point, so I'm nervous for them as everything's going down, but I don't know how that's going to fit in with all the other stuff going down with Incarnate Lord and the stuff involving Jennifer Tilly, Nika, and all of them. It's a lot of different storylines going on. But yeah, a very fun episode this week. We're setting up some really interesting seeds for the last couple episodes of season 2. I think things are going to get really heated up even more so as the episodes progress, because I think this is just the beginning of all the craziness leading towards that finale. So make sure you share your thoughts down below. What did you think of episode 5 of season 2 of Chucky? Do you like the episode? Do you not like the episode? How are you feeling about all the big reveals this week with Chucky, Tiffany, I guess also Jennifer Tilly in a sense, and then Colonel Chucky and Dr. Mixter's involvement? A lot of different big reveals here, so make sure you share your thoughts down below in the comment section. It's part of the fun this time in the comments, you guys in the comment section down below. Thank you guys, always share the reviews. I always do appreciate it. Make sure to like on the video and also subscribe to the channel so there's so many reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Next time, I'll see you guys later.